Hello, how's it going? My name is Reagan. Thank you for clicking on another video of mine. I'm sorry about the angle. I can only really record in my van, in our van, and I can't sit up. So I can't really get a good angle of recording. So if it looks like I'm looking down on you, it's because I am. You're sitting on the bed. I'm sort of crouched over, sitting on the bed as well. But I want to make a talking head video, kind of just talking about my desire to be a YouTuber, to talk about my original inspiration, kind of changing the branding of what I'm doing. And it's kind of a exciting but also a very scary place to be, because we don't have a whole lot. So shout out to you if you find the PayPal and Cash App links and help us with gas money. That would be phenomenal if you did that. But if you don't, no problem at all. I know we're gonna be okay. Yeah, I want to talk about the origin of me making content, and what that's looked like over the years. So I guess let's get into it. So I started watching YouTube videos when I was probably like 13, 14, so like early 2013, early 2014, I started watching a decent amount of YouTube videos, and it's kind of hard for me to watch YouTube because I didn't have a laptop of my own, I didn't have a computer of my own, I didn't have a phone or anything, and because back in 2014, I mean, sure, the iPhones were out, but my family didn't want to do any of that, so in fact, I had a flip phone until 2020, which is when I bought my first smartphone. Nobody bought me a smartphone. I had to buy it myself. But yeah, I started watching YouTube, and back in those days, there was a whole different kind of environment on YouTube. It was really mostly just individual creators making videos. It was really just a lot of people having fun, recording content, putting it up there, doing whatever they wanted. I remember VidCon was a big thing, and that was even before YouTube Rewind got started, and that was a big thing when it started. And I was fascinated by the idea that these people were just recording videos of their lives, or of themselves doing whatever they wanted to do, and then they would post it on YouTube, and you know, they wouldn't instantly get millions of views, but the biggest names were getting millions of views, and they were making a life out of it, and it was their whole career. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. That's crazy cool. I remember I wanted to start doing that, but I was very afraid, and I also didn't really have any of the tools. I didn't have a camera, I didn't have any really editing software. I didn't know how to do that, and probably one of the biggest and only regrets that I have in my life, and it's not even really a regret, because if I went back to that time, if I think back to that time, like, it just wasn't even a thought in my mind to like actually try that, you know what I mean? Like I had the idea and I had the desire, and I was like, that's really cool, I kind of want to do that. But unlike some people, and I'm not thinking of anybody specific when I say that, but I am thinking of people who just have this inner, like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna figure it out, sort of drive. Unlike those people, I was crippled by my fear. I was crippled by my lack of skill, my lack of tools, and also my I want to say lack of support, but it's not like I really talked to anybody about it. I didn't like ask anybody for their opinion or their advice on how to get started making YouTube videos. I just assumed that I couldn't, which was my biggest, that's probably my biggest regret, honestly, is assuming that I couldn't. Because of all whatever different reasons I had of like, well, I'm too young, or like it's not Christian, or it's too selfish, or I don't know what to talk about. I just really like the concept of it. And there was a couple of creators that I would watch pretty regularly that really gave me, kind of lit that fire in me when I was that age. And then fast forward to 2021, so that's like a good 5 or 6 years later. I still hadn't even tried anything, even though at that point I had the money, I had enough money to get the tools that I needed, and I already had like the tools that I needed, because in this day and age, all you really need is a phone. Everything's on the phone. You don't really need a big fancy camera. You don't really need a fancy editing setup. You don't really need a ton of stuff. But I suffer from a crippling sense of, if it's not amazing the first time, I'm not even gonna try it. You know what I mean? I'm sure you can relate. And I'm trying to overcome that. And these videos here are me trying to overcome that. Is me trying to overcome the concept. And my problem is I can be a very visionary driven person. So like, I have an image in my head, and I have a vision of what I want something to look like. And then if I even attempt to create that, my first attempt never looks like that, and that's always so discouraging that I just give up, or I don't even try, because I know it's not going to look good, and that's a problem. So if you're in that same bucket as me, let me tell you, when you get tired of letting yourself bully yourself into not doing something that you could actually really enjoy doing, when you get tired of that, your life will actually start to change. Because at some point you get so sick and tired of you bullying yourself into believing that you're not good enough to do something, that you'll actually try to do it, and you might actually find that it's fun. And if you push through that negativity that you tell yourself, some positive change actually starts to happen. I've seen that in other areas of my life, and I'm hoping to see it here too, because I want to do this for a living. And that's the other thing I want to talk about, is just share like my musings and my wrestlings with what I do for a living, and what my career is. But I guess we'll get back to the storyline, the timeline for right now. In 2021, I had moved out, and I was trying to be an artist as a career, which I am still an artist. I have to believe that I'm an artist. I still paint. I still love painting, and I want to sell my work. I just have so far to go with actually successfully selling my work. That is hard for me to say that I'm actually an artist. But I started back in 2021 to prioritize that, and I started making videos. And if you look back at the video log, if you look back on this channel, you'll see those videos. I shot those with a terrible webcam plugged into my computer, and I had a nice USB. I have a nice USB microphone that I would use for the audio, and then I used that absolutely god-awful webcam. And I started using a webcam because I saw that some of my biggest inspirations on YouTube, they started with a webcam, because that's all they had, and the video quality was pretty terrible. Some people, terrible video quality, that's their whole shtick, that's their whole bit. Good for you. So that was a big hurdle to overcome, and another big hurdle to overcome was the editing of it. And I was editing those first videos on my laptop with a software that would crash every 30 minutes if I wasn't careful. That little stint of video making didn't last super long, plus there was a whole lot else going on in my life at the time, so I didn't really stick with it. But it really started me seeing like, hey, I can make YouTube videos, and I gained like, I think 33 subscribers, 32. It sat at 32 subscribers for the last like 2 years, because I haven't really been posting a whole lot. Yeah, I just say that to say that I'm really kind of restarting it now, and I am allowing myself to struggle, and I'm allowing myself to just get started on the process of like shoot videos, put them out there. The last couple of videos that I've made have been just sort of raw, like POV shots of wherever we happen to be at in our travels, and I just sort of slap it all together and put it out, because right now I have to overcome the feeling of, if it's not perfect, I'm not posting it, which that might, there's a benefit to that if you're at a certain place, but just starting, like, I saw a clip from Mr. Beast. He was talking about starting YouTube videos, and he said, like, your first 100 videos are gonna suck, and you just have to embrace that, and you just have to make the first 100 videos. And I think I've made like 8 8 videos tops. So I'm embracing that first 100 videos suck, and go ahead, and I'm letting myself feel that freedom of like, yeah, I'm gonna be okay with all of these sucking, okay? I just have to get them out there. I just have to do them. So that's kind of the story of my approach to YouTube. I've never really seen myself as a creator until recently, as a like a content creator and a quote-unquote influencer. I don't like the word influencer. I don't feel like you deserve to be called an influencer until you have like 100,000 subscribers or something like that. Yeah, I'm just gonna start posting videos and posting them seriously and consistently, because this is the life that I actually want to live. And I sort of alluded to this earlier in this conversation, where, like, career-wise, this is kind of the only thing that I really want to do. I know video recording and YouTubing, it's not, like, there's only so long you can do it, I think. I mean, it kind of depends. Like, the longest YouTuber that's still actively posting is, I think, PewDiePie. And he's kind of already won the game, you know what I mean? So, like, the career span of a YouTuber is relatively short. But I believe that if I can, kind of like PewDiePie, like, he generated a lot of income for himself, and I'm sure that he's now, like, he's officially retired, quote unquote, from YouTube. He's just posting fun videos for him. I doubt that he's posting videos these days in order to get a paycheck. I think he's doing it for fun, and that he's got his finances in order and self-sustaining. That's my guess. He seems like the kind of guy that would do that, and that's where I want to get to, you know. And he's been posting for like only 15, I think, years. And I say only 15 years because compared to like a traditional career, like where you'd be working for 40 years before you retire, like 15 years is a very short amount of time, and it's a really awesome timeline, and I would like to do that. I would like to live that life. And what I love so much about him and a couple of other YouTubers that I aspire to be like is that they post videos that they genuinely enjoy. You know, they've created a personal brand, and that's a hot word that you'll hear from me a lot more in the future. Like, sure, they've created a personal brand for themselves, but it's based on them and who they are as an individual. It's not based on someone else's like, hey, this is what you need to do in order to quote unquote like win. They're just making videos that they like to make, and they're winning. And so that's where I'm trying to get. I'm trying to get back to that kind of 2014, 2015 YouTube era, where people were where individuals were posting, and it was kind of built. Everything was built. Every successful channel was built off of a personality that was successful and that people enjoyed watching. I feel like these days it's less about the personality and more about like what company you're creating. Like, sure, there may be a face behind there may be a face on every YouTube channel, but like a lot of the YouTube channels these days are just they're just like a company more than a person. So I'm kind of looking forward to getting back to that raw kind of individual personnel touch with YouTube. So anyway, yeah, I have been talking for a little bit longer than I thought I would be, which is okay. But I hope you enjoy the ride. I hope you enjoy the journey. I'll be probably posting a talking head video like this once a week, and then probably a couple vlog style videos like I posted yesterday, probably twice a week. So 3 videos a week, some YouTube shorts, and also some Instagram reels, like 2 or 3 of each of those each week. And I think I can start building a repertoire of videos. And if I get smart and consistent with it, then I can probably start building an audience pretty quickly. But really, to me, it's not about building an audience. Really, to me, it's about feeling free to just be myself. And that's what I do for a living, is just be myself. Because I've tried a lot of different careers, and I have never really felt like myself in any of them. I've enjoyed some of them, and some of them I've been really good at, but I never have really been at a job, clocking in to a career and saying like, man, this is great. I want to do this for another 30 years or for another 20 years. And I know, like, statistically, my generation, they're going to change careers like 5 or 6 times over the course of their lifetime, but still, like, there's nothing that I've really there's nothing that I've really done that I've been there and been like, yeah, I could see myself being here for 5 years. I mean, even as a barista, like, I really enjoyed being a barista, don't get me wrong. Even being a barista, I was a barista for 1.5 years. And in the last couple of months, I was already like, man, I'm supposed to be doing something more than this. I'm supposed to be doing something better than this, beyond this. Yeah. Hope you enjoyed.